Daddy's home, fam. Papa Swole is home. Make sure you say, what's up? Oh, oh, oh. Oh, 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 oh. Maybe I should do this the whole show. Should I just do this the whole entire show? Should I just grunt the whole time? Should I grunt and give absolutely zero content? Just, oh, 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 oh. All right. Alicia's here. Dennis, let's do this. Oh, oh, oh.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Testing, test ickles. Welcome everyone to episode 794 of the Daily Mother Us. Whoa, the most muscular Swolecast, Beardcast, Broadcast, Gangcast, Mancast, Pimpcast, Slaycast, Sleevescast, Nipplecast, and all types of casts in the realm, because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. What's going on, fam? Papa Swolio is home. Daddy is home. What's going on, team? Welcome on Instagram. Hello. Today is a great episode. We're going to get right into it with some exercise demo, actually. I'm going to show all of you the reverse crunch, but first off, I'm just going to introduce what's going down. So let me say hello and a hero, young Padawan learners on Twitch. Let's see, Oliver on Facebook. We got Twitch, we got Facebook, we got YouTube, we got Periscope, we have Instagram. We're back. It's nice to be back. It's really nice to be home. I don't know why my monitor on my right side is freaking out. Hold on a second. There we go. Can't have a first cast back and not have something go wrong, right? Not gotta have something go wrong. Hopefully nothing goes wrong. But yeah, I got in today at I got in about 10, I think. My flight was boarding at 6:45. So Jeb and I were up to like 2 o'clock in the morning, 2 or 3. We were up till 2 or 3. It's hard, because we're such good friends and we didn't want it to end. It was such a good week. It was such an awesome week. So we're just trying to stretch it out a little bit longer, just hanging out, watching some YouTube videos and just cracking up some we went deep in the archives, fam. We went deep in the archives. We went deep on some old YouTube videos. And when I'm talking about old YouTube videos, I'm talking about 11 years ago. These things that were posted in 2007, 2008 that went viral back then. Now we know viral. Oh my God, because everyone's online. Back then when you got like 500,000 views, that was viral as shit because not everyone used it. Now when you have so many people using, you get 300 million. It's like, wow, that's viral. But viral back then wasn't as many views. Viral 7, 8, 10 years ago wasn't that many views because not everyone was using YouTube as today. Now it's all matured and everyone's on their phones and stuff. But back then it was just computers and it was whoever was using it. So it was pretty much everyone at the time, but some fun videos. So anyway, I was up late and now I'm back. So it's hot as shit. And I'm thinking of I got to do something. About this room. I'm probably going to get the latest is I think I need to get a portable air conditioner because I have air conditioning going, but this place cooks. It fucking cooks because the sun comes up in the east and the sun just cooks. And I'm on a high floor. So when the sun's above, it's cooking the roof, which cooks me. And then when it goes down, it sets, it cooks the front. So this place is just fucking roasting all the time. It's just on fucking fire. So even when the air conditioning's on, if I turn it too low, it's going to freeze. So I think I'm just going to get a portable one like right here and stick it in the door or something and actually cool my balls off. I mean, at least so I can have it cooler because right now I'm sweating. The whole point of everything I just said is because I'm sweating right now. So the air is off, the fans are off. And of course I'm trying to keep it quiet, right? Hey, it's showtime. Shh. Turn everything off so I can get really good audio. And then someone's outside with a fucking buzzsaw cutting through concrete. So if you hear anything out there, that's what I'm dealing with. But it's fun to be back. It's fun to see the screens. It's fun to see all your faces or your names and all those things. So Let's see what's going on. Let's see who's tuning in. I see a lot of names I haven't seen in a while. What's going on, Mike? What's up, Big Mike? Alicia. Happy Monday, Genevieve. Got my gains on earlier this morning. Hope you had a good trip home. I did. I had a pretty good trip. I didn't have any issues with security on the way back. I literally walked through. It was cool because coming back from Cleveland, it was no, I didn't have to take my shoes off. I didn't have to unpack all my bags. When I left through Fort Lauderdale, I had to take out my computer. I had to take out my battery packs, my cameras. I literally pretty much unpacked in the fucking airport, taking off my shoes. You would think a bigger airport would have better security and better testing. So they let anything into Fort Lauderdale. They just don't let it out, apparently. So when I left from Cleveland, it was like, leave stuff in your bag. Cool. They went through. Boom. And I'm on the plane. Big deal. And of course, nothing happened. So that was cool. At least it was an easy trip home. It was way too early. It was way too early for me to do unpack and do major shit. What's going on, Nick? Finally caught a live one, but now I have to go into work at 2:30. We'll watch when I get off, fam. Hell yeah. Haven't seen a live show in forever. Yule, what's up, man? Long time since I caught you. Long time since I saw you. All right, so this episode is the reverse crunch. Now I want to preface this, and I told you. Hold on, I gotta say this on Instagram. Manufactured romance. Surprised they let you through with those guns. I'm surprised too. Homeland Swolenormous right here. Homeland Swolenormous, this guy. I wasn't planning on working out today because I didn't think I'd make it. I didn't think I'd survive, but I slept on the plane a little bit and I'm feeling energized. I think I'm just going to rock it. I'm going to run it. I'm going to go do some fucking chest on a Monday. I'll go do something stereotypical or something. Maybe chest and back. I like chest and back. I think I'm going to do chest and back today. Chest and back's going to kind of hit a little bit of everything, but I'm going to rock that out a little bit. And, but yeah, so if you've been following the podcast, you've been following the Daily Swole. If you've also been following the Swolenormous audio experience, all those little snippets, a show of biceps and monkey faces, or monkeys, gorillas. Give me some gorillas and some biceps if you are following both podcasts, if you're also subscribed to the Swolenormous audio experience. So some of you that really are getting the behind the scenes and you're getting a lot of these little audio nucleates that I'm recording throughout the day, kind of like an audio log, essentially. And I'm calling it Swole World, and that's on the Swolenormous audio experience. So there's two podcasts, and so those of you that follow that, this will sound familiar, but I'm doing more. I want to do more with the Daily Swole. I want to go deeper. I want to learn more about this kind of streaming. I want to get more interactive. I want to have more cool fucking logos and things coming in. I want to have more tech. I want to do more tech. I want to up this even more. So I know it's cool. We got the live chat and I'm going to show some video breakdowns, but I want to go more in on the Daily Swole. So I really want to take this content and just keep on crushing it here. I really enjoy this podcast is what I'm trying to say. And one of the things I've been juggling with is I produce so much content and I do the fucking editing and I do it all myself. So, of course there's little helping hands along the way. Maybe I'll have some kind of other people do some work here and again, but I'm doing 99% of it. And that's not to pat myself on the back, but I want to bring some of that attention and some of the other things I do. And it spreads me thin. It spreads me thin as much as the gains can go far. I don't want to spread myself too thin. So I want to refocus on a couple things that are really most important to me. And I love this show. And I love the format. I love where it's going and where it's become. And I really do appreciate your support. And what I would love is if you have friends, if you know people, share the podcast with them. You don't have to share the live thing on Facebook. That's cool too, because this is going to get a lot more visual. Like today on Instagram, you're not going to see it because you're on IG and you're on the phone. But if you're watching on Periscope, if you're watching, I guess it streams on Twitter too, probably. If you're on Twitch, if you are on YouTube, Facebook, all those, you're going to see the video. I'm going to show you the reverse crunch. We're going to break it down. And what I really do appreciate is you all sharing the content, because if you spread the word and you share someone and let them know that it's a podcast and they can catch the podcast on Spotify or they can listen to it on Apple Podcast or all those places, it really helps me out. It helps me out. It helps us out, because the more people that come in, the more people that benefit, that ask questions, it just keeps on growing the community. So I appreciate all of you that do spread the word and do put it out there. And I encourage all of you, if you know someone that's into fitness, bring them in because I love answering questions. I love bringing other people on. If you have a really close friend who's a personal trainer, bring him on the show or her on the show. I'm totally down to I'm going to have more professionals on here from trainers. I'm going to have a lot more people coming in on the show. And I am more than happy and willing to engage with people that you bring in as well. So just even if you're asking questions, everyone grows. The more minds we have here, the more attention and the more feedback, the more questions. It's awesome. So I appreciate that. Jordan on Facebook, I try to catch live as often as possible. If not, I listen on the podcast. I think that's what most people do. I mean, when it's live, it's cool if you can watch, it's cool if you can catch. If not, that's why I put it everywhere. That way, it doesn't matter if you catch it live, but it's cool. It's cool. I love doing the live because if you show up and you can ask questions and engage and interact, it's the best way to consume the show because you might get your questions answered. You'll be right here and you're in the middle of it and you can help direct the show and give me some insights. And, especially when we start breaking down this exercise today, I know there's gonna be a lot of feedback. So what I want to discuss today is the reverse crunch. And this is in part because I've been getting a lot of questions about working out at home. Do I need a gym? Do I need a gym membership? For example, Swolenormous X, those of you that have heard me talk about that are aware that I have my own programs and I have my own private training site, I make my stuff designed to be done at home or in the gym. And a lot of you have garage gyms. A lot of you have a workout room. So I'm very aware of that. And I never wanted to make a program that couldn't be done at home because I think that's not only short-sighted and close-minded, it's those things. In my opinion, it's also a little bit rude. Because it's very arbitrary to train in a gym. The reason why I go to a gym and I have a gym membership is it's much more feasible for me to pay $40 a month than to spend $10,000 and have it in an apartment. It doesn't make sense. I can't have the same equipment. So I go to a gym. And plus, I prefer at this point where I'm living now and where the office is and everything, I prefer to get out. For me, it's important to get out, but I will someday have my own gym, my own stuff. And I love working at home if I had the equipment. I just don't want to do just dumbbells in a room. I want more volume. I want to go heavier. I want more heavy weights. So that makes sense, right? Some of you like to get out. That's one thing. Some of you just don't have all the equipment. So there's pros and cons. And I want to always be cognizant that a lot of you work out at home, that a lot of you don't train at a gym. So in order to explain in order to go into certain exercises, I want to create the best foundation and things that you can do at home. So anyone watching this exercise I'm going to show you, it's more of a beginner intermediate level. You can adjust this, you can regress this, and it's an excellent exercise for the core. It's for the rectus abdominis. It's called the reverse crunch, and it's a great core movement exercise, a core strength exercise. And this is something that everyone can benefit from. You do not need a fancy gym membership, fancy equipment. You literally just need something to hold on to. You can do this on a bench, you can do this on the floor, and there's many different ways you can adjust this, progress the exercise, regress the exercise. So it's a very good starting point. It's a very good thing to do. And it's great for the core. So what I'm going to do first is I want to preface what the core is, define that a little bit, and then I'll bring up the video and we'll discuss it. We'll go into the exercise. Let me just take a couple questions or comments. Eric, I know you work out at home. Yes, I love my home workout setup. Got 550 pounds of plates with a rack. All right, so you have a full gym. I mean, that's what I want someday. I want my own gym. I'm going to have my rack. I'll have my bench. I'll have all that stuff. And that's something you accumulate. You can buy it all at once, but usually people piece it together. You need to do some exercises. Okay, I need a bench for that. You go buy a bench. I'm not going to cheap out. I'm not going to go get some like really shoddy bench because you don't want it breaking, but I will be, investing in some good stuff, and Rogue makes good stuff. And of course, with the popularity of CrossFit in boxes and, opening up garage gyms has actually helped the home gym community big time because everyone's making this stuff because a lot of people do this type of training in their garage. So that's one of the huge benefits of this boom of gym or garage style training in CrossFit is that it has created a massive boom in the fitness equipment industry, which is great because everyone benefits from that. We all benefit from kettlebells and different types of bands and foam rollers and straps and shit. Everyone benefits from that. So, Kirsty, $40 is cheap. Basic membership here without classes is $80 a month. Is that just the exchange rate? There are gyms that are more expensive here. There are gyms that are $50 a month. There are gyms that are $10 a month. You know, Planet Fitness. Something stuck in my throat. Mike, I have a complete amazing gym in my new basement, but still like to go to the gym, less distraction. See, that's the thing. Some of you that I've talked to have gyms. You have your own equipment, and that's kind of like a backup. You have it if you need it. If you can't make it, if the weather gets shitty in the winter, or if it's really early. But a lot of you just like to get out. And personally, even if I had my own gym, I would still go. But I would like to mix it up. I would love to have something at home and then also go and mix it up. Yeah, Craigslist is great. OfferUp, Let Go, all those sites. People give away gym shit all the time. Big surprise, right? People aren't in shape. People use their treadmills as clothing racks and their benches as things to storage. Everyone, or I shouldn't say everyone, but so many people have a garage and they have a house, and the standard is to have a bench and some weights in the corner of the garage, and it just collects dust, and then they just want to sell it. They're spring cleaning. Fuck this shit. I'm selling it up $50, $100, and boom, you save. You know, you get 10 times the value because weights don't go bad. They might be a little rust, you sand it off, or they might be a little dirty or a little bit, but weights don't just disappear and disintegrate. They're just maybe nothing, you know, really shiny and brand new, but you can get amazing stuff for a low price. For a low price, yeah, buy a bar here or there, $35 a month for everything. Sure. So we have that established. Okay. Some of you like to work out at home. Some of you like to work out at a gym. So this exercise is for both. Undefined bill. How to get big but keep my track speed. You're going to sacrifice speed if you build size. So you're not going to do both. You're not going to get bigger and faster. That doesn't really work like that. You know, it's better. That's why sprinters are leaner, because the muscle is going to help you propel and you have less extra weight like fat keeping you, you know, slowing you down. It's like having a backpack and taking it off. So if you keep on getting bigger, you need to figure out if you really want to get bigger or you want to get faster. Two different things. Okie dokie. All right. So the reverse crunch, what is the core and why is the reverse crunch an important exercise? Why are we talking about it? Why am I yapping about the reverse crunch? So if you've been following if you've been following any of my content and you've gone over some of the core stuff, I have videos on YouTube. If you've been a member of the community for a while, you're aware of what the core is. The core is everywhere from the pelvis, from the hips, all the way to the cervical spine. So the core is not just your six pack. The core is not just, you know, a six pack abs and those little bumps around your stomach. That guy with the fucking cement cutter or whatever the hell. Why? Why are you working? Why are you working at 2:30 on a Monday, bro? I'm trying to get the fucking Daily Swole on, for real, right? Rude. Doesn't he know I go live whenever I want? He should know. He should just, he should be following me and know to shut the fuck up. Hardworking guys in the heat outside. Poor dudes. Shave your body hair, it'll go faster. What is he, Michael Phelps? He's doing track. Anyway, so I'm just kind of rambling a little bit. The core is from the pelvis to the cervical spine. It's not just a six pack. It's not just what you want to see. A lot of you want to see your rectus abdominis. That's what that means. That does not mean being able to see your abs, ironically and strangely enough. Just because you can see your abs does not mean you have a strong core. It does not mean you have a strong core. Your core is a lot more than just the way it looks. It's the integrity of the musculature, the internal, the deep musculature, the transverse abdominis, the multifidus, longissimus, all these muscles, the pelvic floor muscles, all these muscles inside that you can't see. They're deep, not superficial. They're deep muscles that produce pressure when they contract around the organs, keeping pressure around the spine, supporting the core, not allowing the spine to extend so much. So it takes pressure off the lumbar spine, the lumbar discs, where most of you, if you hopefully not, you have bulging discs or you have herniations, or you have issues with sciatic issue. So these core muscles inside help keep the body straight. It helps keep the base of your pyramid strong. You don't want to have, think about having a table. If you have a table with 4 legs and one of them or 2 of them are cracked, obviously the table can fall over. That's what it's like if you have a weak core. In order to train your core, you need stabilization exercises, and you also need strength exercises, and you need glute activation. So this is just one piece of the puzzle. I am not saying in any way that if you do this exercise, you're going to be fine. I'm not saying if you have back pain, you do the reverse crunch, you're going to feel less back pain. If you have back pain, you should not be doing reverse crunches. You should be doing glute activation, yoga, and probably referring to your physician because you don't know what's necessarily causing the pain. You might have sciatic issues. I cannot diagnose you. So I'm not saying that doing reverse crunch is going to help. This is more of a movement movement exercise. This is a strength. This is a little bit of a higher level. I'm jumping a little bit in the deeper, more advanced end of the pool rather than going over a basic hip bridge or a plank, which I will do, but I wanted to give you something a little more spicy on a Monday, right? Because a lot of you that follow me and a lot of you are in Swolenormous X, a lot of you are in the community and you've been exercising. Most of you are not brand new beginners. I've never done any exercise. A lot of you are doing literally my coaching programs. You're doing my stuff. So you're going to be familiar with this. And a lot of you have been listening or you're working out already, which is why you follow me because it's fucking fire content and it's right up your alley. Am I right? Am I right? Am I right? So this is the reverse crunch. Let's bring this up. Let's bring up this video. So I'll bring the split screen. So I'm going to go tiny in the corner. Okay. So here is a starting point for the reverse crunch. This can be done on a big bench. I used this, and this was done at the exercise room at my local gym. And the reason why I did it like this, you like my purple mat, which is just arbitrarily there for no reason. I was doing some other demos. That's why the purple mat was there at this time. But the reason why I did it on this little tiny mini Reebok bench is because I wanted to show you could do it at home. I wanted to show you that you can do this on a big bench. You could do this on a little bench. You could do this on the floor. So I didn't want to use something, because if I did on a bench, some of you might watch this and be like, oh man, I don't have a bench. I can't do that. Shoot. No, you could do it on a little dinky bench like this or a dinky step up thing. You can do this on a bench. You might be less comfortable here than on a bench or on your carpet at home, but this is something that you can do anywhere. And that's why I preface this whole episode about home and gym. You don't have to be at home. You don't have to be at the gym. You could do it anywhere, okay? So the reverse crunch is going to target your rectus abdominis. This is something that you want to start with usually at the beginning of your workout, especially if you've never done this before. You want to do this towards the beginning because while you still have energy. You don't want to fatigue your core muscles, fatigue your glutes, fatigue your arms, and then do this at the end if it's your first time. If you're more advanced like myself, I can do a full workout and still bang out reverse crunches with good form. Now you can progress this, you can regress this, and I will reiterate, if you're watching on Instagram, you want to see this video, go check it out right now on one of my other platforms because I'm streaming it live and it's on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch if you want to catch it on another site, but you can just listen in and ask questions too. So the reverse crunch, I'm anchoring with my hands. So I'm anchoring this with my hands and I'm sucking the stomach in just to start the movement, okay? You can hold on to handles. You can hold on to a door. It's really arbitrary where you put your hands. You can even put your hands down by your side. You can have your hands down by your side, by your hips if you want to, but it's better to get some leverage. A couple things to be aware of is if you have tight lats, when you reach up overhead, you might get some arching in your lower back. This is a sign of tight lats. If your back arches when you reach up overhead, your lats are likely tight. Because they are likely tight, then you want to stretch them out. You want to stretch them, more yoga. Using a foam roller will help a lot with the lats to help balance out that issue. But that's something that's very common with thoracic mobility and lumbar mobility and stability. So as I play this video, I'm just going to actually scroll. I'm not going to play it straight through. I'm just going to scroll it. I lift. What I want you to see is, hold on, let me get this. Oops. Okay, here we go. So up and down. That's the top of the motion, and that's down. So just take a look at the range, okay? What do you notice about this range that you don't normally see in the gym or that you see people fucking up with a lot in the gym? Most people will do that whole pop up, right? Most people go all the way up and shove their feet up to the ceiling. They'll stick their butt up, butt will go up over their head. Look at my range of motion. How far is that? So right here, I'm on my coccyx is touching the bench, and then I'm up and right there. That's the distance. I'm just going to freeze that right there. That's the distance. That's the distance for the entire exercise. That's the distance for the entire movement. The entire movement. That's the entire movement. So when you see people that are just fucking lifting their butt up and almost rolling over themselves, you're putting pressure on your spine. Not only that, but you're also taking pressure off the abdominals. You do not need a big range of motion. Very short. Very short range of motion. Right? Very short range of motion. Very simple. Very simple. Real short. Right? Real short. Now, this is something that needs to be done very controlled. This needs to be done slow and controlled with you could do an isometric hold at the top and lower slowly. One thing that you don't want to do, one of the many things you don't want to do, is smash your butt down. You don't want to flop and crash back down during this exercise. You want to control slowly on the way down, right? Control slowly. So rather than just smash, no, you lower slowly down, and I'll play this through because it's only like 10 seconds, a couple exercises looped. All right. Down. All right. Simple. Okay. So that was the whole movement. That was the whole thing. I'll play it one more time. Really, really straightforward. Really simple. Up and control on the way down. And I'm not looping this. This is like 3 reps continuous. All right. There you go. So that's the entire range of motion. That's the entire range of motion for the whole exercise. What happens is people flop down, they use momentum, and they swing. So at this point right now where you see where my legs are, this is the starting point here, okay, right there. What most people do, or many people do, is they lower their thighs more. They go all the way out. And that's not a bad thing. However, if you have tight lats, if you have tight hip flexors, when you start lowering your legs out straight, tell me if I'm wrong. If you feel this too, you might feel pressure in your lower back. The reason is because when you straighten your legs out, those tight hip flexors, those tight lats will cause the lower back to arch, and you put pressure on your lumbar spine. You do not need to go legs completely straight out. You can do those when you build up some more core integrity, when you build up some more core strength. But until then, you want to keep it really nice and controlled so your knees are 90 degrees, right? 90 degrees and your hips are 90 degrees. But look how I'm lifting. I'm not swinging at all. There's absolutely zero momentum. Up and slow. I touch, I make contact, and I pull back up, and I lower slowly. It's completely slow and controlled. There's absolutely no momentum whatsoever. I'll play it again. And slow. Up again, and then slow on the way down. Right? And that it's just a nice, slow and controlled movement. It's a nice, slow and controlled movement, and it's going to crush the movement muscles of the abdominals. Okay? And Eric, I like that comment about the ab wheel. I do not recommend that for most people, especially starting, because most people put tons of pressure on their lower back and do that incorrectly. I rarely see anyone do that correctly. I actually can't say that I've ever seen anyone, except under my tutelage, no offense to, I mean, in person especially. I've never seen anyone in person do that correctly, ever. Ever. I've never looked over and been like, oh, that person's really doing it with good form. Never. And if you're not doing it properly, you're not only going to waste your time, but you risk compressing discs in your back and just increasing tension. It can be a great exercise, but it's so often done improperly. So you're right, but I that's why I don't talk a lot about it. I don't have one, but I will be doing some demos. I'll come across one. But those are very simple. You can do them with a barbell. You can make your own, actually. You can make your own at home with one of those adjustable dumbbells. Let's see. Kaylin, I use these in college for baseball. Still one of the best I've found. Putting ankles across opposite knees hits the obliques really well. Great info. King of the urinal selfie. Thanks. Putting your ankles across opposite knees. Putting your ankles across opposite knees. I can't picture what you're saying. Your ankles? Doing a butterfly position? I don't know what you mean by that. You're getting all the abdominal muscles when you do this. You're getting all of them. I mean, you can do certain angles, you can twist a little bit, that's all fine. But the range of motion's the same. The range of motion's the same. It's very short. It's very short. People over-exaggerate movements. People over-exaggerate movements. People over-exaggerate form all the time. Either you go too far, too little, you take too much pressure off. A big portion of bad form happens when there's no more tension on the muscle. If you're doing a repetition and you're pausing at the top when there's no tension, or you're waiting at the bottom resting when there's no tension, newsflash, there's no fucking tension. You're not working your muscle. What are you doing? Keep tension on the muscle, finish your set, and then rest. And that's a big thing for me, is to not stop early, to not take pressure off the muscle, to keep that tension built up inside, because that's what's going to cause that rush of blood. That's what's going to cause those micro tears. That's what's going to cause the body to need to adapt and to build, to grow, to develop, to be able to handle that the next time. Papa Swole, that's how I roll. Eric, I'd like to see a how-to for the ab wheel. Yeah, I think that's going to be a great content. I do want to have that for Swolenormous X for the fam, so I'll pick up an ab wheel. I could use one around here. What I'm going to start doing is some more demos and stuff here with minimal equipment for people that just don't know how to, that don't have any equipment or can't afford a lot of equipment. That's going to be something that I want to focus on too, because all this information, if you have a gym or you have more equipment, you can just progress it more. You can just take it to the next level in many ways. So let's see, static hold, you can. Like you prop one ankle over the other knee, like sitting in a chair. Oh, yeah, I've never done that variation, Kaylin. I have never had a need to, but if you feel it, there's many ways. Your body can move in many different ways. If you're practicing yoga, you'll hit all that stuff. Side planks, extended side planks and shit like that. So it depends on what else you're I don't do a lot of direct ab work like this. This is a demonstration, but I do more yoga, and I do so much free weights. I don't have to fucking sit here and do crunches. Really, if you're doing a lot of free weights, you're doing a lot of heavy strength training and free weights, you don't need to sit around and do tons and tons of stuff for crunches, especially if you're eating healthy, you're hydrating, you'll see your abs. You don't need to do endless ab work and core work. People do way too much core. Not to mention they do it improperly, but way too much ab stuff. You don't need to go crushing the abs. A lot more with the stability and rotation and mobility, which is why the yoga is so important. But stuff like this is fucking crunches. You don't need to do so many of them. You don't need to do so much. People just fucking do so many sets because they think that's what's gonna make it better. They'll do some crunches and the fat will disappear and they'll have abs and boom, everything will be rosy and beautiful. But that's not how it works, fam. That ain't how it works. You can static hold at the top. You can do isometric hold at the top, absolutely. And the reason why, and I'll play the video again, when you do an isometric hold here, look at where my hips are, right? It's a perfect spot. It's a perfect spot for an isometric hold because you can see that my knees are not over my face. My knees are not over my head. My knees and my hips are the center of gravity, and where the weight and the resistance is rotating, there's full tension on the abdominals. So you don't have to lift your hips up over your head. You can do an isometric hold there and it's pure tension on the abdominals. So in terms of ab work, yeah, you don't want to do them every day. You don't need to do ab work every day. Abs are a muscle like anything else. You don't want to crush them every day. You don't need to do ab work every day. You can do them a couple times a week. If you've never done this exercise before, I would really encourage, if you have back pain or you have any kind of issues and postural issues, you're probably not ready for this. Limit the motion, do planks, do your hip bridges, do your yoga, activate your glutes and stuff. This is more of a mid-level exercise. Now, in order to make this easier or harder, you can extend your legs more. You can put a weight between your heels. You can do it on an incline, which is the best way to do it. You always want to make it more challenging before adding weight. So you can do this on an incline where your arms are higher than your hips. So you raise the incline bench a little bit and you do it like that. And then, of course, you progress. And as you progress, it becomes more of a hanging leg raise or a hanging knee raise, which is obviously much more challenging. If you want to make this easier, you can actually do something which is pretty cool. You can elevate the You can elevate the bench in the area by your hips. So you can raise your butt up. Okay, so kind of go like on a decline bench or reverse on an incline. So your head is below your hips. Now you don't want your blood rushing to your head and pass out or something fucking weird, but a slight decline where your head is a little bit below your hips because it'll be easier for you to roll the hips up. So if you have trouble keeping this kind of control, because the way I showed you in this video, I'll play it one more time before I go back to full screen. This whole looping, if you're not able to keep that kind of control, then you shouldn't be doing this exercise. You're not ready for it. So you have to progress. And the best way to do that is to go on a slight decline where your head's a little bit below your hips, a slight reverse of what would be a progression. And that's a great way to teach your body the control. Clifton on YouTube. Let's see here. The truth, very refreshing. Everyone has abs, and I find it hilarious to see people buying Abtronics. What's Abtronics? Is that like the thing that shocks the fuck out of your stomach? That's so stupid. Isn't that the stupidest shit ever? Isn't that the stupidest shit ever when someone buys that fucking electrocute my body? Yeah, send a shock wave through my abs, please. Send a shock wave, just fucking spasm my abs, please. Do me a favor. I'd love to have abs, please. Can you fucking electrocute me? I hate that stuff. Those are scams. Those as seen on TV and all those things that get passed around. Those are absolute fucking scams. That's like from a professional standpoint, it's thievery. It's thievery. It's just scumbag shit. Electrocuting electrical impulses. I don't care if there's any studies that show that maybe it does a little bit. No, you're not controlling anything. You're not teaching your body proper posture. You're just electrocuting your abs. You send an electrical current through something that is living tissue, and it's going to cause responses like muscle shortening. Of course, they're going to contract. You're sending an electrical impulse. If you get fucking tased, you're going to spasm too. Your muscles are going to contract. Of course, those are pulses, so you can't, you don't just lock up, but people fucking go down. Some people just seize up, but that's what those things do. Abigail, I had one years ago, didn't do shit. Of course it didn't do shit. I'll tell you a funny story about one of those ab things. It was college. This is in 2001, and someone had one in the dorms. So check this out. So I was like, all right, I never tried that. I already knew it was bullshit. I already had this opinion then. I was like, I'm a fucking crap. I'm like, all right, I'll try it. What the hell? So I picked it up. Okay. I didn't know it was on. And the way at least that one worked, I mean, of course, that's a long time ago. You had to put some kind of gel on it, like a conductor gel. You don't just put it on. You burn yourself, right? Big surprise, electricity. You burn yourself. So I picked it up, but I didn't know someone didn't turn it off, and it didn't have any of that gel on it. So I picked it up, and it burned my fucking thumb. So I said, hell no. I never even put it on. And that was enough. It burned my thumb. I had like a blister. It fucking burned my thumb. Nope. Not a chance I'm putting that on my stomach to shock the fuck out of me. Not a fucking chance. Not a chance in hell I'm putting that on my stomach. Not a chance in hell. That's a great way to thin the herd, so to speak. You want to take natural selection into your own hands, sell those, and anyone that buys one of those, you're off the list. You can go to Mars first. Like literally, that would bring up the average IQ of the human species dramatically. If we just eliminated all the people, just sent them off to Mars, anyone that buys that shit uses it. Especially nowadays. I'm not talking about before, because something new comes out, everyone, a lot of you bought that. I'm not saying you have to go to Mars, but no fucking chance in hell. No chance in hell. Burned my thumb. No joke. Burned my fucking thumb. Is there an episode with any exercises for a broken ankle? There are many episodes with exercises to prevent a broken ankle. Now, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not a physical therapist, so I cannot tell you, hey, do this to rehab your ankle, but yoga is phenomenal. It's the easiest way for me to explain to you, do this. Yoga, you're going to do single leg exercises. In my Swolenormous X platform, there is single leg balance exercise, single leg squat, single leg stability exercises. For a broken ankle, you need a couple things. And this is my opinion. It's my expert opinion, but this is not a prescription, right? When you have a broken ankle, and this has to do with the reverse crunch because it has to do with the core. So this is where this Venn diagram, what you asked about the broken ankle and the reverse crunch, this is where they're going to coincide and cross over. If you're doing a reverse crunch, you want to make sure that you have active glutes, that you're fixing the posture and you're realigning the body. When you break your ankle, you're going to walk differently. Your gait changes. How you're tracking through your hips changes. When your ankle is broken, you're limping, you're depending on the other leg. And not only that, you're not tracking through the ankle properly because your ankle's fucking broken. So unbeknownst to you, you feel, oh, I'm better. I'm so glad to be walking again. You don't realize that you've changed your entire body dynamic posture. And now you're not activating that glute at the moment. So you're not walking through full range of motion with your ankle. So you're not tracking through your foot when you take a step. You're not driving through with the hips. So your glute's not firing properly. And then you have contralateral instability, where you have one side, one glute that's stronger, one glute that's not as active. Then you have balance issues, asymmetrical shifting, and you have asymmetrical imbalances. And, you know, that leads to a whole host of issues, which can translate up to the shoulders, to the neck, and everything like that. So with your broken ankle, it's going to sound strange, but activating those muscles around the ankle, the foot, the calf, doing single leg balance exercises, doing your yoga mobility work, but also activating the glute, especially in that size. So single leg hip bridges, single leg squats, single leg balance reach, but things that are going to activate that one side, that's going to help integrate it back in. So you have to isolate those muscles that are weak, that have shut down because of your broken ankle, but then integrate them back into full total body movements. So you essentially have to reteach your body how to move. Even if it's been 6 weeks, your body is still going to shut down. It's a protective mechanism. Your body just fucking cuts off. Your body just cuts off activity to that leg. Okay, the ankle's broken. We don't have a leg anymore. Fuck that leg. You know, use the other one. So you start using one side more than the other. You become more imbalanced than you realize. And it's very common for after an injury like a sprain or a broken ankle to all of a sudden you have another pain that comes somewhere else, or the other leg starts having tendonitis because you're leaning on that for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, depending on how bad the break was or the sprain and whatnot. And then sometimes people need surgery and shit, and that could lead to a whole host of things. But that's a lot of information. I know you might have to go rewind and play that again, but it's really good shit. Glute activation and really focus on fixing the gait. That's where physical therapy comes in. That's why they do the rehab stuff. They help you activate. They help you activate and turn that shit back on. Yep. Broken ankle. The broken ankle episode. But we will do, I will do more areas. So not only am I doing the reverse crunch, but I will go through and go over, because I've done a lot of episodes on different areas. I've done stuff on the foot. I've done stuff on, barefoot and ankle and alignment. I've done stuff on the glutes, the knees. I mean, I've done so many episodes. This is 794, but I'll come back into those and we'll do some more area specific stuff. So I'll put that on the dock with the ankle. That's a good question. So I hope that helped. Adam Schmidt on Facebook. Since starting the 90-day dash 5 weeks ago, let's see, my Achilles tendon has been sore and progressed with the calf. Any ideas for stretching mobility for getting that worked out? Chances are you might have done too much. You might have jumped into it too much because it is a lot of balance stuff and it's a lot of stability stuff. So you might have just not given it enough time to recover, or it might not even be related. It could be something that happened outside the actual training, and the increase in stability training and activation has just not allowed it to heal, which is possible. If it's been super sore and progressing into the calf, which is normal, because if you're doing stabilization exercises, you're activating a lot of muscles in your foot and on the side, the fibularis muscles, also known as the peroneals. You're getting the posterior tibialis, the anterior tibialis muscles that cross the ankle and the foot. So you're hitting a lot of muscles that have never most likely really worked before. And the reason why they haven't worked a lot is because high top shoes and elevated heels and just sneakers in general provide a lot of stability, taking away the need for your body to do a lot of that stabilization yourself. So when you start doing barefoot stuff and more yoga and more balance work, all of a sudden you're waking up And because these muscles have really never been under that kind of duress, not only are you waking up, but you could easily overtrain going into it too hard. That's why I have the primer week as part of the programming. And that's why yoga and foam rolling is a big part. So I would recommend foam rolling. I would recommend more yoga, maybe take a little bit of time off from that. I don't know the severity because I can't feel what you're explaining. I know what you're referring to, but I don't know if it's something like, oh, you should go get that checked out, or you just need to foam roll and kind of like, I don't want to say, oh, that's normal, man, you're fine. I mean, I don't have an MRI in my brain, so, but what you're feeling could just be, if I felt that, I've been like, oh, that's just part of the whole thing, part of the process, but I can't answer that for you because I don't know. Feeling is very subjective, of course. Kirsty, yoga has helped me find muscles that never worked in years. It's definitely helping my total balance in the wheelchair. No doubt about it. Obviously your situation, in a wheelchair, but it's going to help you a lot because talk about overuse. You're using your arms all the time for everything, for moving, period. So balancing it out and working on your posture and your thoracic posture is super important. Adam, okay, that makes sense. This is the first time I've ever really did yoga and many of these moves. Thanks. Yoga is great, and I'm going to actually venture off into a topic related to what you just asked me. Okay, it's not terribly severe, just sore. Yeah. When I refer to yoga, and I keep promoting yoga and yoga is so great, which it is, it helps active recovery. And I usually refer to yoga, and I'm usually talking about yoga because it's good for active recovery. It's good for healing. It's good for lengthening. It's good for inhibiting. It's good mentally, physically. That being said, yoga is not it's not like a fucking massage. You're actually doing work. You're activating the right muscles. You're lengthening tight muscles. You're turning on muscles that haven't worked. So when you first start doing yoga, and most of you know this, you're sweating your fucking ass off. You're exhausted. You're holy shit. You're shaking. Your body is like giving out. You're sore the next day. So it's very easy to overdo it in yoga with the presumption that, oh, this is recovery. When you're starting and you've never done it before, yeah, it's recovery, but not for you. If you're 600 pounds and you never really walked down the street, walking down the street is going to be a walk in the park for you or me. But if you're 600 pounds and you never do any kind of exercise, walking down the street might wipe you out for a couple days. You might be exhausted at the end. You might have a fucking heart attack, right? So just because something is down the line, and that's where you get better, right? So as you practice yoga and these moves, in 6 months, you'll come back and do one of these workouts you're doing today and be like, oh, that was a good workout, but I can handle a lot more. And that's just adaptation. So when you expose your body to these moves more, when you expose your body to these moves regularly and to these kind of dynamic moves and these stabilization moves, you really have a lot of overload and stress in ways that you're not used to. It doesn't seem that hard while you're doing it. It might be sweaty. Whoa, you're falling over, but you're working muscles a new way. Have you ever gone on a boat or something, or go boating or do something where you're just not used to it and all of a sudden your calves are sore because your body's stabilizing the whole time? Or you went on a vacation with your family and you went hiking. You never go hiking and your fucking Achilles tendon is jacked up or your back hurts because you're just not used to doing this movement, and all of a sudden you go and you do it for 6 hours. You just throw your body into the deep end of the pool and you're going to feel the consequences sometimes. And if you start off, even unknowingly, you kind of go a little bit too hard at the beginning, but then you keep consistent, you might have gone a little bit too much and kind of pushed yourself a little too hard at the first exercise, caused a little bit of a deeper micro trauma. So it's got really stiff, but then you just kept consistency up and you never really allowed it to heal. You might have overdone it the first day or two. So you might have gotten excited. And that's why I usually say, fucking barely do anything. Do a little bit and stop. That's why there's a primer week in my programming. I always say less is more, live to see another day. Back off, do less, and then, oh, I feel great. Okay, do more. If you feel good at the beginning, of course you feel good. You're 100% recovered. You never worked out. And then you push too hard. Sometimes you don't realize how deep it's gone, and you don't give your body a chance to recover enough. So that's possible too. Of course, just possibilities, just shooting things out there. But there's a psychological component to that too. Kirsty, I get knackered after a good 30 minutes of yoga. I'm sorry I do, Lassie. Tyler, I notice with certain moves more than others that I am not used to activating certain muscles. chair pose gets a good burn, for example. You're gonna keep on seeing that. One of the beautiful things about yoga is you notice the imbalances. Yoga helps you expose, or yoga helps to expose those imbalances. By practicing yoga, you will notice, oh shit, my left side is a lot tighter than my right. When I do this on my left leg, I can barely raise it. On my right leg, I can get twice as far. You start noticing how different your body is left to right. That's totally normal and that's totally cool, and that's part of the secret. You have to learn your body. You have to learn how different your left side and your right side can be. I can sit here all fucking day, every day talking about it. It's one thing for me to talk about it. It's one thing for you to understand my English. It's another thing for you to do it yourself and to feel it. And a lot of you that are listening need to be more of a practitioner. You need to put it into play and fucking do this. And that's where I learned most of my shit. Yeah, I have my degrees. Yeah, my certifications. Yeah, I taught the shit, but I also lived the shit. I'm still living it. After this, I'm going to the gym. I live this lifestyle. This is what I do. You know, I try things and I do it and I see how it feels and I do more of it. And I've been doing it for 18 years. So after all that experience, I did a post on Instagram and on Twitter. A lot of people don't realize, like, okay, you have results. How do I get like you? How do I build arms? I want to get big like you. I want to do this. How do you stay so lean? How do you eat that? And I've been doing it for 18 fucking years. I've been active my whole life and I really got into training hard 19 years ago. When you're going fucking hard as shit, when you dedicate your life to eating the right food at the right time and training hard and being consistent and making your fitness a priority, whether you're working 20 hours a day or 5 hours a day, you're on vacation or not, whether you feel like it or not, when you're relentlessly, ridiculously consistent for almost 20 fucking years, you're going to have some pretty awesome results. You should. And not everything in between there was amazing. I lost a lot of size, a couple points, because I was working 18 hours a day, but then I came out of it. You know, you have life, it goes on, but you have to learn to adapt. If you're not ready to put in that kind of work, then you're not ready, or you're not going to have the physique of your dreams. That's just how it works. If you're not willing to put in that kind of work and effort, what do you think is going to come out of it? If you kind of do a little bit of working out and you eat kind of healthy, you know, everything in moderation, then you're going to have a very moderate, decent, subpar or sub-average or maybe average looking physique. No one might, I don't know if people aren't going to walk down the street and be like, oh, that person works out. Oh, he works out. Oh, she works out. They might say, oh, she's not fat or he's not fat, but they're not going to think, oh, that person lifts weights a lot. That person, what do you want? First off, do you care about what people think? But it's all about what you want. Just understand that if you want to look a certain way, you got to fucking go all out. You got to go all out. You got to put so much fucking time and effort in. And it's so easy to look and say, I want abs, I want this, or, oh, that, you know, that dude looks good. I want to look like him. Okay. You want to look like me? First off, you don't have my parents, but also you're going to have to put in a lot of fucking effort for 15, 20 years, because that's what I did. Maybe it'll take you 10 years. It takes a long fucking time. It takes a long fucking time. There's a reason why these pro bodybuilders don't start winning shows until they've been lifting and training and doing this shit. Steroids are not for 15, 20 years. A lot of times they really hit their peak and start winning shows when they're in their 30s. And they've been doing it. They've been competing since they're 18 or 17 or 19 years old. Because not only do you have to lift right and eat right and gain the size and gain the shape and learn how to pose and learn how to hold and learn how to diet and deplete water. I mean, they get better and better at their competition. You are not a pro bodybuilder. You're not a pro physique competitor, chances are. If you are, cool. But you want to look good for yourself. So your goals have to be adjusted. You don't have to be 5% or 10% body fat unless you want to. You don't have to have bigger deltoids unless you want to. If you want to win a bodybuilding competition, okay, you got to look a certain way and have certain shape and have certain, be lean and have ratios of muscle size and definition. Of course, if you want to win a fucking show, if you don't care about that, like myself, I like watching it, but I don't want to do it myself. I just do it amateur. I do it for me. And now I'm turning it into something where I can pass it on to you. So you don't have to have an unrealistic goal if you have no intention of putting in that kind of work. Eric, did you really just say that, bro? I wish I knew back in the day what I knew now. I would be so much further along now if I did. You mean if you could travel through time? If you had a time machine, you could tell yourself all the things you know now. That's called life, bro. Of course you know more now than you did. Everyone feels like that. Hindsight's 2020. If I think back, oh, I could have trained like this, I could have done this. I would have started yoga when I first started lifting weights, rather than 6 years in or 7 years in or whatever it was. Cameron Foster. So when you do cardio, do you just supplement it with yoga? I don't do cardio. I don't do set cardio. I'll warm up for 10 or 15 minutes on the step mill, but I do yoga and I lift weights. I eat healthy. You can do cardio, but cardio is not something that's going to be the ticket to you losing weight or to looking a certain way. Most people just don't want to lift hard enough, train hard enough when they're lifting weights, eat clean enough. Cardio helps a lot of people, slack a little bit psychologically. They think, oh, I'll just do more cardio. I'll eat this food, but then I'll just burn it off and do more cardio. First off, that's not how it works, but good luck with that. And most people just exhaust themselves. You can do way too much cardio and then raise your stress hormones and retain water and body fat. Every day or set days for what, bro? I'm not talking about cardio. So that's up to you. I don't promote cardio or push that as like a necessity. Yoga, I wouldn't do yoga every day. You could do a little warm up or cool down. But yoga, if you're doing like a full yoga class, you don't need to do it more than if you're doing it with weights and you're lifting weights in part of your programming. I would alternate days. I wouldn't do more than yoga every other day or 2 or 3 times a week because it can be exhausting too. And there's different types of yoga, which I'm not going to get into at this moment, but there's different types of yoga. There's more intense yoga. There's strength yoga. There's more relaxing or passive yoga. Oh, I see what you're saying, Eric Dean. I worked out. My time was wasted. No, you didn't waste time. You learned. You learned by doing, bro. It was bro lifting then. Everyone bro lifts a little bit, especially like before social media and shit came out where you can really find information really quickly. I was twice as strong then, but wasn't in as good of shape now. I hear you, man. I hear you. I'm not as strong as I once was. I don't deadlift the way I used to. I don't bench the way I used to. I also don't care. I don't train that way. I'd rather have better skin quality and feel better and be more flexible and mobile and not have to eat as much to maintain. It's fucking exhausting. We'll do another show on bulking coming up. Fuck, it's so much. You have to fucking eat so much fucking food. You have to eat so much food. It's expensive. It's also time consuming. It's just exhausting. It's exhausting to bulk. You're welcome, Cameron. Appreciate the question, bro. Thanks for watching and following the Swole. This is episode 794, bro. I don't know how long you've been following the show, but dude, you can catch this Spotify, Apple Podcast. There's just so many episodes. SoundCloud has all to the beginning. You can find these on YouTube as well, videos. But yeah, there's just a lot of content. But that, anytime you guys are asking questions, a Q&A, love the Q&A, love it. Especially when it's bumping. I know there's like Monday 3:00, so it's kind of like an awkward time for a lot of you. Some people West Coast are probably getting on that lunch break tip, but yeah, it's a good time because by the time I finish up, the podcast will be up before everyone's evening commute. Oh, you got me on SoundCloud? Cool, dude. Sweet. Been following for a while. Cool, man. Yeah, you probably heard me talk about some of these topics before, man. But thanks for plugging in, man. Thanks for plugging in. Definitely keep joining live when you can. Turn your alerts on, and when you see me live, jump in, ask a question. Always happy to answer. Any resources you can recommend to get exposure to a lot of different yoga practices? My gym does gentle yoga, and I swear they lay down for 15 minutes. The hardest pose is Shavasana. Meditation is the hardest. Shavasana is the hardest pose. So when you think, and here's what yoga and meditation teaches you when you practice it, not do it, when you practice it, you realize that the less you move, the harder it is. It's hard to let go. It's hard to be quiet. It's hard to quiet the mind. It's hard to focus on the breath. That's more challenging than doing a warrior one. That's more challenging than doing a downward dog. It's that meditative, quiet, be within your head and silence everything and breathe. It's fucking hard and it takes practice. It takes practice, man. Super cool, Cameron. Yeah, once you sign up, you'll get an email. In Swolenormous X, when you sign up, you get an email and you can schedule a coaching call. So we'll do a one-on-one call and we'll shoot the shit a little bit. But yeah, you'll have access to everything right away. A lot of things that just answer your questions. Tyler, yeah, I mean, that's why I have yoga. That's why I have yoga in Swolenormous X. That's why I have the regular uploads for yoga classes. So in Swolenormous X, for example, I have Vinyasa yoga. You have beginner class. You have yin yoga, some prop classes, blocks, straps, and there's also going to be some yang yoga, which is more of like a fire. So like the yin, the yang, the balance between reducing tension, passive, working with gravity, allowing gravity to take over the body. And then you have the resistance. You have more of the strength type yoga and more of like the just the opposite of giving and allowing your body to melt with gravity. But there are many different types of yoga. You can Google those. You can look them up. There's Kundalini yoga. There's Ashtanga. And I don't know. I'm not a yoga expert. I don't know all the intricacies in order to explain or define them. But that's easy enough going online and Googling it. But I want to just reiterate that a yoga practice, the reason why the yoga practice is amazing, it's because it's a practice and it's yours. There's no such thing as good or bad at yoga. If you practice more, you will have a better practice. That's it. It's very all encompassing. It's very inclusive. Many, many, many yoga classes are just all levels. You're never forced to do anything you can't do. You don't work through pain. You do what your body can handle and then you move on. If you do a yoga class and you can only do 10 minutes before you're wiped out, then you do 10 minutes. You come back the next time, do another 10 minutes. Or you lay down in Shavasana or child's pose and you come back into the class when you're ready. Do 10 minutes, break for 5 or 10 minutes, catch your breath, come back in for 5 or 10 minutes. There are people all the time in yoga classes that you'll look around the room and some people just lay down on their back and they're just exhausted and they can't hang with it. They just don't feel up to it. Their body is saying, no, this is not for me right now. Or they're just new to the class or something. And they need to rest. They go to child's pose and any good instructor lets the person do it. It's their practice. An instructor in a yoga class is really like a guide. They're guiding you through your own practice. They're guiding you through the moves so you can improve your own personal practice. If you want to do a child's pose and rest in the middle of the class, you do that. You want to turn around, lie down, you turn around and do that. So there's nothing that forces anyone. It's your practice. There's no good or bad. Yeah, Garrett, I agree. Breathing is the hardest part of yoga for sure. It's moving with the breath. And it's that connection with the breath. It's very challenging, but that's why it's a practice. Playing the piano is a practice. It's just, you have to get better at it. You practice it. It gets better. It gets better as you get better. So we'll come back to some more core stuff. We'll talk some nutrition stuff and we'll get onto some more of those topics. If you have anything you would like to see, any suggestions or any topics that you would like to see on the Swole, make sure you drop in the comments, send me a message, hit me up. I am more than happy to take those into consideration depending on the content flow. Thank you so much, fam. We're back in the office. We're back in the Swole Castle and Papa Swole is going to get his gains on. And thank you so much for joining me on Facebook, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, Periscope, everywhere. Remember, this is the Daily Swole podcast. You can catch it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, wherever you get your audio gains. You can find the Daily Swole. And I will see you tomorrow for episode 795 of the most muscular Swolecast, Beardcast, Broadcast, Gangcast, Mancast, Pimpcast, and Sleazecast in the realm, because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. Peace, McGee's fam, a deuce, magoose, a papa swolio, out.